everybody. Happy last Thursday of the month. Am I right? Am I right? Why do I feel like it's been ages every time I come back? It feels like it's longer than a month every time. Before I go, do you guys hear music? Is it too loud? Do you hear it at all? Yay, nay. Hi, Infinite Silver. Hi, Dresden. Hi, Nikki. Hi, Justin. Justo. Good to fake see you. Oh, Nico. You don't hear music? Okay. I may just keep no music so that you guys at home, if you want to listen to music, you can listen to whatever you want. Music's so subjective, I feel like. But I can hear it, and that's all that matters because I need to hear something else. Or in the silence, I go crazy, y'all. Oh, hello, Ashton. Hello, you guys. How's it going? How's your month been, your summer? It's like 30 degrees in my city today. That doesn't happen all the time. Matt and maybe Magda? You guys. Oh, Justin with the props, you sweet little angels. Who is this lady? A modern Bob Ross? Barb Ross, actually. Just kidding. Not just kidding. Honestly. Magda's camping. Oh, that's nice. She's getting that nice weather that we're talking about right now. Good to see you though, Matt. Miss you. I thought Justin was gonna be making us come together again soon. Rude, Justin. How dare you not be here right now? Anyways, painters. August. Oh, you have a date. Guys, if I don't put something in my calendar immediately, she gone. Okay, what are we talking about? We're talking about Highland cattle. Is that what they're called? They were this picture was chosen. Oops, and a special request from Nikki in here. That's why she's like, I'm for sure painting tonight. I love it. Look at that cute little face. The best. Justo in town. Justo parties. Okay. Because it's her birthday next month. It's your birthday next month. And right when she sent this picture, I was like, look at that little cutie patootie. And then a lot of people were really excited about it too. I got a lot of messages. So, good choice, Nikki. I don't know if Cinderella's here today, but just so you guys know, next month we've already chosen. We're painting Miss Piggy. Cinderella found a really cute picture of Miss Piggy, and I was like, that's the time to shine. But that's just a key. If you're watching this on YouTube or if you're here right now, send me DM, email, whatever you want. My info will be in the caption. Send me pictures of things you want to try to paint, and if I feel it when I look at it, we'll schedule it for the next month. Because sometimes I panic and don't know what to choose. So if y'all be choosing, I like to see it. Okay. What time is it? Should we just like get into it? I feel like I forget how to do this every single time. But y'all always come along on the ride with me, right? So today's, if you have done, and I know Nico's probably gonna be like, damn it. If you've done the koala fluffy hair can be tedious. And look at this little fluffy gaffer down there. Obviously, we're gonna have to do some fluffy hairs. It's easier than I'm making it sound. It's just a little bit more tedious usually, so you can go as detailed or undetailed as you want. I don't want you guys to catch my yawn, but you're probably gonna catch it anyway. Sorry. But it's not too crazy. If you've been here before, you just gotta trust the process, exactly like Infinite Silver saying up there. It's like you've been here before. You for sure have to trust the process. And it's just like we're gonna start with dark and go lighter. And just add some fluffy little hairs, and they gotta go over their cute little eyeballs. Oh, it's gonna be cute. So, you reminded me, I almost forgot to go over my rules. If Infinite Silver didn't say trust the process, I might have forgot. Oh no, am I gonna yawn this whole time? I know there was a stream or two where I literally just yawned the entire time and all you guys were yawning and... Wake up, Taylor. Nico says, to be fair, you've gotten better at fur and hair, but just a lot of brush strokes. See, practice makes perfect. That's also another good lesson that we're learning here today. Okay, we're going over my rules real quick, and then we're gonna paint a Highland Cow cattle. Same, I think. Okay, number 1. I guess I should probably say, I should stop saying this one, but I'm not really a trained teacher. I'm just somebody who's a full-time artist who's been painting my whole life. And if I explain something weird or confusing or I talk really fast, like I've probably already been talking too fast as we speak, let me know. Don't feel bad if you're like, explain that better. I have no idea what's happening. Question mark. That's okay. You asking questions helps me. Sorry, you guys. I don't know why I'm yawning. Helps me. It helps people watching at home right now. And it helps people watching on YouTube later. So it's good for everybody. There's no bad questions. All right? Dresden already coming in with the hearts, you sweet angel sunshine. Thank you. Look at this thing. He's cute. We're going to say it a long time. Number 2 is you can start with a pencil if you want. We're going to be tossing some shapes on here. I like to start with paint. I teach you how to start with paint. Some people kind of, I think I read kind of in there. Some people prefer to work with pencil. So if you want to work with pencil, don't worry about it. Start with pencil, and I'll tell you when to ditch that pencil. I'm just going to be teaching in paint. Number 3 is do not treat this painting too precious, especially if there's some cattle fans, some Highland cattle fans. When I posted about this, I found out that there's many of you out there. Some of you might already in your head be like, I want it to be perfect. Get rid of that, okay? Because if you want it to be perfect and you're nervous, every single brush stroke that you do, you're going to be like, is this the right one? Oh, I ruined it. And you're not going to have a good time. And we're all about having a good time here, okay? That's rule. That should be rule. It is, actually. That's on the rule list. I've obviously blacked out the last 2 years of paint nights every month. So there's no such thing as mistakes. Don't treat it too precious. We can cover out most things if anything goes wrong, so don't worry about that. Just have fun and see what happens. Your cattle isn't going to look like my cattle, isn't going to look like that cattle. None of our cattle are going to look the same. Okay? Is it a group of cattle or is it cattles? I don't think there's an S. You get the point. Number 4 is trust the process. We already got there with Infinite Silver. Let's go. But when I Googled Highland Cow, it kept correcting it to cattle. So I was like, oh, maybe that's actually what it's supposed to be called. Maybe I'm wrong. Justin just said cow in the chat. And I get why you're like, bitch, there's a cow. But Google is telling me something different. Number 5, water is your friend. We're using acrylic paint. It's water-based. Some artists will say, don't use too much water. I say, use as much water as you want, because I do all the time. And number 6, have fun, okay? We're here to have fun. We're here to just relax, paint something amongst friends in the peanut gallery with us today, and see what happens, and see what all our little different cows look like at the end of this, okay? And this is also, maybe I should just start marking myself better, you guys. I forget, that's my job. I just started doing in-person paint nights. If you're local to Calgary and you want to hire me to come to your house with all supplies, do exactly what we're doing here, but in person, you get to choose. I can help you on the spot. You know who to call. Tay. Or international is just more expensive, says Justin. And thank my momager right there. Look at him coming in perfectly. Yes. You want to fly me out to America or wherever? I'll come. Okay? I'll be there. I love that, actually. Please do. Please do. I actually did a live painting to America? Yeah, I guess really anywhere, though, but America is great. I did one of these at Caffeine, at the headquarters in Redwood City. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't really know, actually, but it was years and years ago, and we live streamed it live from there. Pretty cool. Thanks, Caffeine. And what did we paint? Justin's probably gonna just drop it at the bottom because he's the sweetest angel. We painted a Putin uni. And people on YouTube are not gonna be able to see what Justin just put on there. But it's the cutest little prop. Look at him go. You click him and he poots stars. Everybody click him in the comments down there before he goes away. Give him a little click. Woo. And then Nikki's also, look at all you guys support me here. Don't forget that I do weddings now too. Yes, I do live paint at weddings now. I did one. I have one more booked, but that's also something too. Something super cool that not many people have at wedding. Super fun and unique. Am I right? So, holler at your girl. And Justin said, yes, you're missing out. You got to come to the live. Very fair. Respect. Thanks for that too. Ooh, that's not the color I wanted. That is a good call, Justin. Lives are fun, aren't they, everybody? Tell me they're fun. Okay, when it comes to our cute little cattle, the first rule is kind of sus because you have classes, but I'm not keeping track. Well, I meant I'm not a trained teacher. Like, I've never been officially trained on how to teach people. I just, like, paint, and then now try to tell you how to paint, too. You know? Nikki's like, oh, yeah. Dresden, oh, yeah, was that a hint? Yeah, your lives are great. Thanks, guys. Thanks for pumping my tires when I asked. And then Nico prefers alive, too. You guys are the best. Alrighty then, folks. If you are not painting first, don't worry about this. You're just going to take out your pencil. If you're painting this cow, you can decide. Maybe some people want to do a pink cow. Maybe someone wants just a different color cow. I don't know. Whatever you want, you can do whatever. You're just going to be following the same instructions. You'll be adding white to whatever color you choose when I add white to this one, okay? I'm just choosing a brown. It's burnt sienna. It's a little bit of a reddy brown. If you don't have a reddy brown, you can add a little bit of orange to your brown, a little bit of red to your brown. If you don't have brown, then you're going to have to mix a little bit more. Mixing is the word. Some artists love mixing colors. I personally don't. So I always just buy the colors out of the tube. But if you don't have that, that's okay. You can either, with your orange, add a little bit of black to it. And how do you make orange? You don't have orange? Red and yellow. Okay, you can take out a little bit of pink if you want. This looks white. It's pink. That's fine. You can do a blue if you want. Whatever you want. We're just right now are basically doing what the pencilers are doing. We're doing a rough sketch of our little cow with a bunch of shapes. Let me get that on there. That we're going to cover on top of. So again, it's messy, it's easy, it doesn't matter. We're watering our paint down a lot, more than you think you have to. I think that's the problem that a lot of people have. They don't water it down enough. So we're going to just do a very light coat, very light outline on our canvas that we can cover up after. Okay, let me see. All right, let's get ready to go. The only little tiny issue that you guys, like in our little picture down here, I had to crop him a little bit because he's a square. That's totally okay. But we're going to try to picture him in a rectangle, right? We're going to paint it further out than what you can see down here. His little horns go a little further out, okay? So first thing you're going to do is just look at your canvas. I'm doing it horizontal. I think it'll be cute to have a way bigger head on here. If you do it this way, you'll just have to have a little bit smaller of a head to fit the horns, or you can make his head huge and just make the horns go right off the canvas. Whatever you prefer. But I always say to like take a breath, calm down, because some of you are freaking out there. We're having a good time. And just kind of try to picture where you want him to go. Like, try to just kind of roughly imagine. Maybe his head's going to roughly go here with his little hornies out. Whatever. And then you're going to have your water dish. Some people like to pour it out. That's what I've been noticing sometimes. I like to drip it out. So see how I'm, like, scooping water with my brush, just straight up water, onto my palette, whatever you're using, plate, whatever. And I'm going to grab the tiniest little bit of whatever color I chose, which is the color of the whole cow. Okay, whatever color you chose is the color that you're going with for your entire little cow. I took a little tiny bit of it, and I'm going to grab all those little water droplets and make this little chocolate milky concoction. Okay, that's what I mean. I always want it to be like chocolate milk consistency. Not too watery, not too thick, way more water than paint. Also, let me know if I'm skipping, because that'd be annoying. But let me know. So see how I'm just mixing that little tiny, like, tiny couple toothpick tips of paint just to make this watery concoction. I'm using a little brush. It can be, see how mine's like squared off a little bit, but it can be straight up pointed if you want. It can be tiny, tiny. I personally don't like the tiny ones, but it can be really tiny if you want it to be. Like you're using a pencil, right? Whatever works. I always just suggest to have a small, medium, and large brush. So you take your smallest brush, if that's all that you've got. And the first thing we're going to do is literally just paint a rectangle. A rectangle. Oops, where am I going to put this? I need to get the screens in the right spot. A rectangle that is going to be his whole face, right? If you kind of just squint at this little picture of this cow behind us here, beside us, you can see that his whole face kind of fits in a rectangle. So we're just going to do that. Go as high as you want his head to go. His horns don't go too high above his head, so make sure you're leaving a little bit of room, like an inch or so. I'm just going to draw a line. See how my paint is so watery? It's going to dry really, what's the word? Translucently? Does that work? The more water, the more translucent your paint will be. I'm just making a line in the middle. It's probably not in the middle because I'm cross-eyed. I'm just making a line, and then guess what? We're just going to bring it on down to wherever you want under his little chin to go. Under his chin is where the bottom of this rectangle that we're drawing is. So you can leave a little bit of room for his body, but we're just going to go right there. See? We're going down. See how it's like not really straight? I went down a couple times. I'm not being very precious. Look how far back I'm holding my paintbrush. Far away because I want to be loosey-goosey and mapping out where I want this cute little cow to go. Okay? Who doesn't have fun with Taylor and keeping up with her shenanigans? Love to hear that. Oh, Justin. Look at, I need you guys in the comments here. Painting with your elbow instead of your wrists. That helps you be a little more loose and not so precious like Justin, who paints like this. And was like an hour later than everybody else to finish his paint night picture. But, and it probably helps your wrists too to give a little, that's rude. I didn't say it was bad. You did a great job. You did amazing. You just took longer. Am I wrong? Where's the lie? Where's the lie? Right, you were mixing the perfect color, and I was like, you can do whatever color you want. All right, so in this little old rectangle, we are going to be fitting his eyeballs, his nose, his cute little shag hair. Ooh, he's going to be cute. Okay, so what is the best thing for us to do right now is to draw that circle right in the middle where his cute snout. I don't know where I'm going with it. Snout? Right here. You can, even if you want, go under the line a tiny touch if you want that to be like where his mouth is creased. Whatever you want. Let's just see what happens if I do this. This is a creature. So I don't want to just say cow cattle 4,700 times, but that like the fatter and chubbier, like probably the cuter this thing's gonna be, I think. So don't hold back. I like Schnoz, has more character. Schnoz really does. I remember my brother had a it was called the Schnoz, and it was like one of those, oh my god, why won't I remember the name? It's, were those big like statues that like when they ended up digging it, they found out they're actually like huge and underground. They're like very tall. They're like big like statues, like big nose. Very historical. I should know what they're called, but I don't. Someone in the comments, you'll get me here. I'll keep painting. Easter Island heads. Boom, Dresden, I knew it. So he has a tissue dispenser, like a Kleenex dispenser. Thanks, Nikki. See, look, all you guys, you knew. Nikki's painting, but also answering. Thank you. It was one of those heads, and tissue would come out of the nose, and there was like a tissue holder you put on the wall, and it was called the schnoz. And I feel like that's what I've been calling it ever since. How's that feeling? Doesn't look like a cow yet, but Are we trusting the process already? 45 seconds in. Oprah's come in with the props. Thanks. Oh my god. Means the world. So I did. Hey, Dum Dum, want some gum gum? I love that. Okay. We've got a circle. We've got a rectangle. What else is on his face? His cutie little eyeballs. Am I right? So, what's the best way to do these eyes, folks? What's the best way? I think we're going to just do a circle, which is more. We're doing more of the eye. We're not just doing his little eyeball. We're going to do a full circle, and then his eyelids we can build off of that circle, okay? If that makes sense. Oh, that drip. Oh, no. I don't want you guys to be confused. Usually, I would leave a drip. So, like, if that happens on yours and you, like, want that, like, painty effect, leave the drip. I just don't want people to be confused by the drip and feel like they have to paint the drip. So, I'll just wipe it away. But if you want the drip, let's go. Literally a runny nose. Literally. Looks like a basketball court. Oh, dropping the basketball prop. Oprah. Thanks. I love the pun. Not the pun. That's not a pun. Y'all know what I'm saying, though. Y'all know what I'm saying. The cleverness and the prop choice. So we're going to draw his little eyeballs. And easily enough, if you want, try to look at the picture. And if this is the top of his schnoz, look how far his eyes are up and then how much more further up is on his forehead. Right? So I'm going to go about here is where his eyeball is going to go. I'm touching the far side of my rectangle. Do you need a coffee, little guy? I think so. Obviously, like, look at me go. It's wilding out here. These are two players on the basketball court. And again, remember, none of this is permanent. If you think later on, like, oh, his eyes are too close together, then we can figure it out later. You can bring it even further outside of the rectangle if you want. It don't matter. I'm still just trying to fix that drippy. But our cow is coming to life. And now from here, we are just going to, we're probably going to paint over it later, but this is just helping us kind of map out where everything else goes. You see how the top of his little hair fluff kind of goes over that main rectangle that we were drawing. So we're just going to bring a line like an umbrella. We can even go above the rectangle to even make it a little, not that sharp shape. See how if this was a straight line that we drew for the rectangle? Now we brought a little curve on over top that rectangle. So now he has that cute round his head. That's how we kind of build off the shapes that we have to build up our little character. And so we've got our umbrella. See how it goes maybe about an inch over the side of each rectangle. I'm drawing it from an angle, so he's probably going to be goofy, but adds a little character, am I right? So we have that little top hat. And just for, like I said, we're probably going to paint over this later, but just so that we can see where his little bangs are going to go, we're going through his eyes. Right? If you imagine, like, this is going to be hair, but right now we're just making sure that all the shapes match up. It's going with his little bangs over top. We're cutting through those little eyeballs a little bit because, of course, that hair is over top his cute little eyes. Now what does it look like? Still kind of like a basketball court, actually. Looks like a pizza slice. Oh, it's a piece of pie. It does look like a pizza slice. But that's just his cute bangs. Alright, and then underneath his eyeballs, we're going onto the outside of the rectangle, and we're just going to do a curved line to build up his face. See how it's kind of the same shape as this curve, but down here. Boop, boop. Hey. I lost my picture of the little guy. Come back. There you go. But see, we're building up his face. Off. Why does this keep going away? My reference photo keeps disappearing. That's weird. Come back. Jack, come back. Well, we'll just see how long that lasts. Okay, so we've got those little curvy lines. We've got where his eyeballs are going to go. We've got some pizza. Hot or cold pizza? Is that what you're saying? Cold. Oh, coffee. Justin, stop it. Don't you tell me that you're... Don't do that. Don't you do that. I know you sneaky little momager moves. I know you. We've got his body. What am I saying? It's his head. And now, since we brought this down an inch and see how it came down, and this came up, now we're building his ear off of that. Tender Bear, Thursday. Heck yeah. On a Thursday night. I thought you were talking about hot or cold pizza, Justin, so that's really funny. So now we're going to the bottom of that pizza slice, and we're going to build this cute, fluffy little ear off it. And all you're going to do is curl on up and match to that line that we've already made. See how it looks like, almost like a question mark. Boop. All right, we've already did those two lines. We're starting down here, and you're going to curve it on up and match up with that line. Ooh, this side got a little wild on me. All right. Do you see him coming together? I do. I'll be honest with you that sometimes I panic halfway through paint nights where I'm like, oh, Lord have mercy, have I painted us all into a corner? You guys, it happens. But I trust the process, and I fake it till I make it. And it always works out, doesn't it, everybody? This is just me today. It sounds like I'm just like holding a gun to your heads always. I'm like, are you having fun? Are you having fun? And tell me it does good. Tell me it goes good. Okay, this kind of actually looks like a Furby. He's giving Furby vibes at the moment, and I'm not upset about it. I don't ever remember painting into a corner. See? So, it's never happened. I've panicked. Same with that wedding painting I did. It was my first live wedding painting, and about halfway through, I was nervous. I was like, oh, Lord have mercy, is this going to turn out? But it did, because I trusted the process, everybody. Let's go. Okay. Now, if you want, we can build his little horn. See, look, his horns are going to be pretty close to the edge of mine, too, but I always draw things too big. It just happens. So if you want to just roughly map up his, if you want to map out his horns, you're just going to go straight out and just curve a tiny touch up at the end. It was awesome, and the Newlies' reaction was perfect, right? And I know, and the videographer was still there for the Newlyweds' reaction. So I'm like, and we did like a big group hug, the three of us, the bride, the groom, and the bride, the groom, and I, and they got it on video, so I'm excited. Right, here's a horn going right on out, and Nico's bringing up the porcupine fence. Yeah, that's fair. I think I even made a warning on the porcupine fence, video, saying this is a little bit harder than usual ones. In my head, I thought it was going to be so easy, and the fence it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy, but the porcupine was cute. Okay, so we've got their little horns. Once it went up, guess what? You're just going to bring it on down. Same over here. If you want, you can literally make the horns go right off the page. That's fun. But they do go behind the ears. We'll figure that out. I might make mine go off the page maybe, so there's no tension points in there. Alright. Alright. We've got a Furby cow coming along. And before we start coloring everything in, maybe that's the word we need. We can also just roughly map out some of these little fluffies and where they're going to go with your pencils or with your wet paint that we're using. From his eyeball, his hair underneath, we go down. We're going to come up to about where the rectangle the outside of the rectangle, and bring that on down. Right? See how I went about right under the eye. I came outside of our original rectangle and I curved around his schnoz to bring that hair down. Do you see where that is? If you look at the reference photo, his little whoop. Right, we've got his cute little chin is built inside of here, or if you put your circle up, we can do a line and that's fine. But see how we are building his cute little beard. And Dresden just brought up that Calgary just had Stampede, so this seems appropriate. I didn't even think about that. You are very right. And same up here. We're going into the middle of his eyeball, and we're going to bring that hair on out. And down. Nikki says hers is a little on the chubby side, and girl, don't you remember the start? I was saying it should be chubby. We want a little chubster. There'll even be like hairs down here. His little fluffy hairs. He's just going to be so stinking cute. Yeah, okay. You can have a little goatee too if you want. Aw, that's cute. He looks wild right now. Absolutely wild. But he's coming along. And then up to you, we can do it at the end. We can do it now. Like, you can draw a line like where his body is going to go. If you want, right? Like, he has a body out there, but you can just do his face, or you can just do some like surrounding hairs, whatever. Why are you getting Baby Bell vibes? Hey, that's... Isn't there a cow on Baby Bell? Or are you saying this is a Baby Bell? And these are all just pieces of Baby Bells, little Baby Bells. That's what I should say instead of beans today. It's Baby Bell science. Okay. Are you guys ready to start just throwing some colored paint around? Actually, no. You know what? Before we do that, let's just roughly map out where this mouth is going to go. Okay? So if you didn't do your circle... Oh, there's a trip. If you didn't do your circle through the rectangle like I did, your circle will be up here. That's totally fine. Draw a line through it about where our line is. Right? Like if your circle's up here, draw a line about where that is. We're mapping up that little face. Oh my goodness. Ilham would be disappointed that I'm soaking up those drips and that they're not up drips. We'll get drips, don't you worry. I just don't want, there's a lot of going on here, so I didn't want you guys to be confused by the drips yet. So I'm still using this like chocolate milky watered down paint that's drying really light. We're going to his little mouth. And so these are, I'll do it a little darker so you can see, but, right, if that's the line where his mouth creases, I'll keep doing it a little bit darker. That's the outside of both of his little mouth. Boop, right, that'll curve up, that'll curve up. And he's got a cute tongue, and it starts from his little lip line here. It goes a little under, actually. So the first thing we're going to do is just draw that top tongue. Oh my gosh, it's just like a little egg that curves out at the bottom. Alright. And it bubbles a little bit underneath that main line that we had. See how if this is our line here, see how we came? I'll do it a little darker so you can see. A little underneath there. Oh, I went really dark by accident, but that will do. No mistakes, right? Oh my... As I try to mop up one of my mistakes. And what I'm doing here, if anybody looks or is curious how I erase stuff, I always take, you can use your paper towel or the rag I'm using, and I dip it in my water. When the paint is super wet, you can wipe it off the canvas if there's a mistake is what I was going to say. If you made a mistake, if you want to get rid of something, but it has to be really quick. Like if I do that wet over here, see how that line, it gets a little lighter, but it won't disappear. While over here, when it's still pure wet, you can almost get it to disappear. Only on canvas, though. I would not suggest rubbing that hard on paper or anything like that. Okay, see that cute little tongues there? And it's hilarious. He's licking in his nose. Crazy. But right out the middle of his tongue, you can do a quick little line because that's what his nostril, that's all you can see of his nostril right there. See how it's right there at the edge? And then come on the exact opposite side, and you're going to make that same little notch. Right? See how we have two notches here? Notchy, notchy. And then from that notch, you don't have to do it on the other side because luckily his tongue, right, is covering up that nostril. We don't have to worry about painting it in or anything. All we have to do is create the nostril on this side. And guess what? It's a little bean. So I'm still using that watery consistency paint. And on an angle, same how like this is on a down angle, right? All these are on a down angle. If you look at my brush, that's how we want the nostril to go. We're just going to draw a bean. Bean. How's that? It looks like a nose to me. You can even make the bean a little thicker if you want. Wider. And from, oh gosh. And from that bean, let's just show you, right? We did this notch. I'm just doing it a little darker so y'all don't miss it. I'm drawing this bean, and then from the bottom of that bean, you're going right on down. Do you see a nose there? And from those two lines that you made, you just want a little tiny poke of both of them showing. So you go right underneath that tiny little poke, and you're going to go curved down. See how at the top of the circle is a curved up? So now we're going to curve it down to make that little schnoz. We've got a schnoz. And then this is the outer ring of the nose that's all fluffy that we're going to paint in later. He does have a little lip, but we can deal with that later, right? Like he's got a little lip you can trace underneath if you want, but we're going to be doing all this in a different color later. And remember, see how our tongue here, it's not a perfect bean. When you come over here, it curves over. Like it's going into his mouth. Oh my gosh, right now he does look really angry. Hangry, for sure, but he does, right? Because he just looks like he has angry eyes. Okay, we'll have to fix that a little bit. Okay, do you see that nose there? How are we feeling? Are we ready to start putting in some dark color and stop building up all those hairs? Because realistically, he's just a hairy guy. There's not much detail on him more, even though right now looking at it, you're like, well, this is a baby bell basketball court hangry cow at the moment. But there's not loads more. Like the back of his body, yes. But it's just going to be like the same detail as we go through. So is that what you mean, Nikki? Like the back of his body? Oh, yeah. Yep. And again, you can decide how much of the body you want to build, right? But it will all be like same. It'll be the same technique. Oh my gosh, just smacked my camera away. It'll be the same technique as we were doing in the face and everything that we'll carry out through. There's just no need for shape placement in his back body because it's just hair. And we'll start adding some lighter colors as it goes back. Okay, you painters, put your not painters, pencilers, put your pencils away. It's time to start painting. We're just going to be filling in big dark colors of whatever color you're painting your cow, cattle, cutie. Like I said, I've been using burnt sienna throughout all of this, but with that really watered down chocolate milky consistency. Not up here, you can see like it dried dark, right? Didn't have as much water in it. But now we want thick paint. We want to throw it on there real nice like. Okay. Let me find this here. We want the paint to go on thick, and then we're going to continuously we are going to continuously keep adding lighter values of the same color to build on top of that hair to make it look 3D and amazing. Who's with me? Okay, so I took out more paint of the color that whatever color you've chosen, and now you're going to be taking a big brush. It can be a big old bristly one. It could be, if you just have a small, medium, and large, I would suggest your medium brush. It can be square, maybe. Whatever you wish. And depending on your canvas size, too, maybe you need to work in brushes a lot smaller than what I'm showing on here, and that's okay, too. I gotta find the right crunchy brush. So I'm gonna be using this one. I'm gonna dip my paint brush in the water, but I'm not doing that soaky up thing. I'm not doing that chocolate milk thing. I'm just gonna go right into my thick paint and move my brush around in a little bit, maybe dip back into the water and bring it back in there just so that all my bristles are filled. But it's way more paint than water this time. We don't want that chocolate milky light drying stuff. And the first thing we're going to do is the obvious stuff. So I'm squinting like this because that's what I always do to try to see the values of anything. So if you're looking at our cow, where's my paintbrush? Right here. If you squint at him, where's the darkest parts? It's by his eyeball in here and his ear. So I'm just going to color around his eyeball. This dark color, it's the darkest out straight out of the tube, or if you mixed a brown, right, it's the darkest value of that color that we're using right now. There's no white added into it. It is just brown. And yeah, just brown. Yeah, just brown, and it is going on solid. If you think it's going on a little bit too translucent-y, feel free to dab your brush on your paper towel or whatever you've got, and use a little bit less water. Try that. We're going to be putting the dark in other places that you're not straight up squinting, but this just helps to start. We're going to fill in this spot and this ear also. Cow. Right, you see his eyes are in there. He still looks very angry, but we will deal with that shortly because he's not. Right, and I'm trying to be kind of conscious of my brush strokes, following the shapes a little bit, or following the hairs even. So when I'm saying like following the hairs, this is something too. We are going to keep drawing the hairs at every stage. If you want to try right away with your paintbrush. You're sorry to interrupt, but coffee and dinner for later is here. Like outside, like I have to go grab it quick. Is that what you're saying? Oh my gosh. Like right now. Sorry guys, be right back. Oh my goodness, Justin. See, I told you I knew what you were doing, you sneaky little guy. Goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. I don't want to trip over these cords. Eee! Oh my gosh. Remember earlier when he asked hot or cold and I was like, I know what you're doing now. You. Oh my gosh, they seal it so tightly. I nuked the stream, says Justin. Hey, but oh my god. Ooh, that looks good. Oh my Lanta. You. There's 2 in there. Thanks, Oh. Thanks, Justin. You sneaky little bear. I won't yawn for you guys now the whole time. Oh, thanks, Justin. Oh, man. Did I get hot and cold? No. He got me a meal for later, too. And did you get one for Daniel? You little... Oh, man. Justin, thanks. You. A couple weeks ago, we thought Justin was going to be here for the paint night. Like, he would be here painting. He is the best momager ever. We'll see if next time, if we'll do a crossover. Thanks, Justin. What are we doing again? We're painting a cow. Oh, my goodness. What am I doing? And he also has dark around his nose. He literally is the best momager ever, you guys. Also, for people who don't know, Justin is literally in America. America! Just like I said before. Cutie patootie. When you are laying down this paint, you can literally just fluff it out. See how I'm like painting it like it's hair already? A lot of it's going to get covered up, but you can even just start practicing what that is like. And then see again, I'm still holding my paintbrush pretty far back, and I'm being pretty light and wispy. Nice and wispy, if you want. And see how, if I'm not pressing too hard, you can get little hairy lines. Like, this is a pretty big brush, right? But I'm still getting some of those little hairy fluffersons. I'm making up words today, you guys. Let's see how you can add that fluffy hair on there. Do you want me to go closer maybe too? We can zoom. Oh, where am I? Ooh, but that's very zoomed. Let's... How's that? Is Tim Hortons better down there because here they all suck? In Ontario, Tim Hortons suck. They, for sure, Tim Hortons is not the Tim Hortons we grew up with anymore. But... Ooh, this. What is this? A mocha. The one near Chrome is legit. Oh, I'm getting a phone call. Oh, Dan. The one near Chrome is legit, and the crispy chicken wraps are nice. Yeah, you guys, Justin got that crispy chicken in there. Ooh, that's good. Hold up. Okay. So, we've got that brown oat milk mocha. There we go. Of course, Justin knows what's going on. He ordered it. So, do you see how those little hairs are going? We're still using the dark brown. Look, there's a little bit too much water down here, so that's why it got a little bit lighter. But I'm wisping out. I'm going from his nose, and I'm wisping that out. Wispy, wispy, wispy. On my computer, I'm really choppy. Am I choppy to you guys? What has happened? It's never chopped here before. I don't know. It's not chopping on my OBS. Yeah, maybe it was my phone. The chaos interrupted the signal. Maybe it was just my phone. I don't know. That was weird. Whatever. It stopped now, I guess. Doesn't look choppy on mine. Okay. We're wisping. Sorry, guys. And again, too, we're still using the darker color that we have. And if you want to start practicing those fluffy hairs, you're lightly wisping and like pulling your paintbrush away from the canvas as you go out to do the hairs. But look, he's already getting fluffy and hilariously adorable. right? Fluff, fluff, fluff. So, like I said, remember how before I mentioned that we're probably going to just paint over top of this thing anyway? We're about to do that too. You can still fluff under his chin too if you want to. Fluff, fluff, fluff. Fluff, fluff, fluff. The fluffier, the cuter. Oh, I'm noticing that I made his eyes not even. We'll figure it out. So, we've got some fluffs going, and now we're going to have to do it in the top part of his head. But before we do, we're just going to map out where his cute little eyeballs are going to go. We're still using the same color, but remember how I said this full circle is not the eyeball. We're going to cut in to make some of his eyelid, and that's what we're going to do right now. Just with the smaller brush. You can bring back that brush that you started with. If you started with pencil, just grab a small brush. Oh, Justin, you're so kind. I can't believe you did this. I haven't had a mocha latte. I mean, an oat milk mocha in ever. I drink black coffee. Boring. Got to earn my 10%, he says. You're the best. So, we've got that circle, right? We've got that initial circle. Maybe now it's a little bit crazy since we fluffed around it. If you want me to just, you don't have to do this. I'm just showing you like where, let's plan where that initial circle is, right? And from that circle at the bottom, imagine there's a line right through the middle of your circle. Try as best as you can to ignore all these other crazy lines we have going through it. But just imagine the center of your eyeball. Anything underneath that center line has to follow the bottom curve like this, like a bottom curve. But anything above that center line has to mock this top curve, right? See how it curves upwards? Imagine you cutting the circle in half. So when we're doing the bottom eyelid, we want to curve downwards. We're going to start a little bit higher up in the circle, and we're going to curve on down until you reach the end. Again, there's going to be so much fluff, you're not going to see a lot of it, but we're just building up the shape of where that little eyeball is going to go. It's basically just a black dot once we get the eyebrows on, with really light wispy eyelashes. You guys know that I'm a fan of that. So, right, now when we do the top eyelid, we're on the top half of the circle, so we want it to follow a top curve, but again, at a little bit of an angle, because we're going from the line here, and we're curving on up, and coming down at the end. Right, so if you picture that circle that we had, this line that I'm drawing you don't have to do, but you're seeing that circle, and now we've built an eyeball in there. He looks crazy, but we're trusting the process. And same thing on the other side, right? Hello, Fob Deep. Sharing my broadcast, giving me 1 million smileys. And some props. Oh my gosh, Fob Dep's coming in hot. Welcome to the stream. Never seen you before. Love the energy. What's going on? Thanks for the love. Aw. Appreciate it. Oh my goodness. Welcomed. A welcome. Getting ready for work, lurking around. Fob Deep, you're the best. That's the best. Lurking around and spreading joy across the land. Right, painters, we're going right back to the other eye, and you're going to do exactly the same thing. We're at the bottom, you're going to curve, and on the top, you're going to curve. And now he looks suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. And again, remember this eye. This looks a little crazy. I just drew that so you guys could see. Remember where the circle is, because it might get lost in all our painties. Painties. We have some eyeballs in there. And again, remember, you can, like, if you think it's too big, you can bring in this line here if you want his eye to be a little bit smaller. Like, there's nothing permanent. And you can color underneath it too in the dark if you want. His bottom eyelid's darker. Okay. We have the eyes beginning. Do you want to put the little pupils in there right now so you aren't scared of him? If you want to get out some black, we can do that. And remember, take out a tiny little touch of black. I always forget, like, I don't take all my colors out at the start. Some people take all them out at the start. I don't like to. I feel like I waste more paint if I do that. I just take out small amounts of each as I go. Oh, no. Small amounts of each as I go. And replenish more if you need to. My camera doesn't want to stay here today. I always know when it's off because trust the process moves. It's just spinning itself. So again, his eye's gonna look crazy until we put those cute eyelashes on it. But we're gonna get a little bit of black with our little bit of brush. And the first thing you're gonna do is just fill in that spot. Whoop. He looks really crazy right now too. But we're basically drawing just another circle inside of that little shape that we made, right? So if you picture, this is a full circle, but instead of drawing the full circle, I am stopping where that eyelid curves, right? That curved eyelid that we've added, right? If you imagine that I continued, that would be a full circle, but instead we are stopping at the eyelid. Derpy with his tongue out. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Not wild and derpy. And same on this side, right? We're going to come to the end and paint that circle. Oops. But go to that eyebrow, that bottom eyelid that we drew. And stop there. And if you went too far over like I probably did, we can put some white in there, or we can literally cover it with these cute little crazy bangs that are coming along soon. We can do that too. But I know he looks wild. His eyelashes are going to be the belle of the ball, okay? How do we feel about that? Is he just too crazy at the moment? We're going to go down here before we start going back to our brown. While we let that other brown dry, we're just going to put a couple darker spots for this nose so that when we paint layers over it later, it'll be dry. Okay? So we're going to go to the outside of that little nip at the top of his nose, right? We're just going to do a little black line. It can be thick. It can be messy. It doesn't matter. And you're going to go just down the top half of your bean. Does that make sense? If I zoom in a little bit more. You see what I did there? I did a little nick. I went a black line just on that little nick that we did, and then I followed the bean to the bottom, but I didn't continue. And same up here before, right until you touch his nose, you're gonna make that little black nick line as well, and a little bit of his nostril, but that's about it, and we'll go back in later. And again, we're doing this black now so that when we add these more colors and stuff, we can kind of loosen up, lighten up some of those sharp lines that the black's going to give now. And if you do it last, it sometimes looks like it sticks out, like it's very obvious that you painted it last. And we want all of it to be natural and blend in together. So we've still got that black on our brush, and we're going to go where this line is that we have. Again, you can go outside of it a little bit more or bring it in a little bit. It doesn't really matter, because that was just our rough sketch at the bottom. But see, I'm going above where the tongue curls. I'm going above a little bit, and I'm going to bring it on down to where we made that cute little notch. And then I'm just going to color in this one little line underneath that cutie little tongue of his. Remember, we're using more paint than water. But you do want to add a little bit of water on your brush so that it pulls across the page nicely. You can even make a line under the tongue if you want, but we're going to be adding pink on top of that later. Ooh, he's cute. Other than his crazy eyes. It's because I'm looking at just the zoomed one, but when you look at his eyes, you're like, whoa, this guy's crazy. Okay. And remember I've talked about before, could you have used, God forbid, a Sharpie? 1,000% you could use a Sharpie, God forbid. He says that because I always mention that a lot of other artists would be offended that I tell you to use a Sharpie. But if you're just somebody painting for fun at home, like, use whatever you want, whatever you're comfortable with. More people are comfortable with a pen or like a marker, right, than paint itself. If you're just painting for yourself at home, who cares? If you're uncomfortable making an outline with a paintbrush, do it with a Sharpie. You might have to make your outline a little bit longer, like thicker. You might have to go over a couple times. What is that, a little cricket? Crickets? Rude. See, because Justin's an artist that'll judge the Sharpie. Just kidding, you wouldn't. In reality, it's called mixed media. 1,000% it is. 1,000% it is. Okay, should we get back to our crazy cow? So, like I said before, we are basically just painting over top of what we've already oh no, what have I, where'd he go? Come back. When we painted that triangle, I said that we're going to basically paint right over top of it, and we basically are going to do it right now. So I'm going back to that big brush that we were using to color in all these other hairs. And if you're using a paint that when you went, it's like when you put your first layer down, it just, the pigment wasn't great and it's a little bit see-through and you want it more thick or more solid. Now that it's dry, do that same layer again. Nothing wrong with that. But we're gonna just go now to his little fluffy bangs. And again, you can brush it on, but a lot of it's gonna be covered. You can do it this rough way if you want. See how I'm always like painting these strokes like the hair actually would be, because then it adds, you get some of those shadows, you get some of those brush strokes that look like hair without you having to shade a bunch of things. It just helps when you're conscious of the directions of your brush strokes, especially with hair. Because look, like, doesn't this almost already look like hair going in the right direction? You can see where we're going to be doing those big chunkies. And as you keep using your brush, paint's gonna get off of it, right? It's gonna stay onto the canvas. And see how now this was the same brush stroke. It started nice and thick, and now at the end it got a little bit lighter. That could be a little bit more of a advanced skill for some people. If you're brand new to painting, don't worry about it. If you're trying to learn or play a little bit more, you can play with that, right? You can use those different values of color with different amounts of paint on your brush. But see, if you use it all the same too, that's fine, because we're going to be going in with other lighter values. But see how our cow has been getting filled in. He's basically a blob right now. It looks like a toupee. Totally does look like a toupee. He just looks like a blob right now. But he is coming along. And remember, nothing's permanent, and we're going to go back at the end. If some colors didn't show up as dark as you wanted to, we can go back in and add some darker value like that, right? Nothing is permanent. Let's see how we're building up our cutie cattle. It does look like a toupee now, that's all I'm looking at too. Right? What should we do next? Either way, we for sure need white on our palettes. While we let that top dry, we're gonna fill in his nose, his horns, and then we're gonna get started on fluffing. It's only 10 after 8. Okay. How are we feeling about our cows, everyone? Right now, if I was to look at it, I assume that the ears are probably stressing people out. I mean, not the ears, sorry, the eyeballs. So now that we have some white on our palettes that we're going to be adding to the fur, before we do so, trust the process, I guess. Yeah, I'll take your silences. Trust in the process. I still have this little brush in my hand, and we've got the white. Before we start mixing it with anything else, I'm gonna get my brush a little wet. You can white out that little spot in his eye if you feel like you made his pupil too big, or if it's too brown popping through. Some of you might already have it white. You might not have brown in there, but this is a time for you to just pop a little bit of white in his crazy eyes. Oops. And you know how I like the little eye highlight? We have to do it before his eyelashes go on. So we're gonna add a little bit of a boop boop. And a little bit of a boop boop. Right, and those are just literally two little dots of highlight in their cute little eyeballs. Even though he still looks crazy. But remember, eyelashes are going on top of this, so the big shape of the eye will be hidden. So now that we have some white on our palettes, we're going to start by taking a chunk of whatever color you're using to paint your cow with. The color we've literally been using this entire time. And I've been hearing recently that this mixing of colors with the white and getting different values is a very hard part for a lot of people, and I completely I completely understand. I've already told you I don't like mixing colors. It's totally something that you're gonna have to feel out as you go. The more that you go, the more comfortable you'll get with it. It's not something that I can easily just tell you, oh, put this amount of white into this amount. It's not easy. You're gonna have to start feeling it out a little bit. So realistically right now, we just want to really lighten up this one color that we've already started on with, because now we're going to start adding some depth by adding a lighter value of fur onto him. So we're going to take my big old brush. We got a bunch of our brown. I'm just going to take a bit of white. You'll always need more white than you think, but it's easier to add than take away. So I'm taking a chunk of white, and I'm mixing it in a little bit of brown. You don't want to mix it in your entire whole pile of brown that you have out, because it gets very easy and out of control to waste a lot of paint if you do it in a big chunk. You want to do it in smaller little batches. And you want to know, as annoying as it is, your paint will always dry a little bit darker than it looks wet on your palette, okay? But it still helps to like hold it up, and you can already see, even from here, even though the color's a little off, you can see that it's a lot lighter than the color that we've been using. And again, if you look at my palette, like, this is the original brown right here, and this is the lighter. You can see there's a significant difference. And the first thing that we're gonna do is color in around his nose. Again, this isn't the lightest color we want. This is a medium toned brown. If we say this is the darkest, we added light to get medium, and then we're going to be adding a lot more to have a more highlighted brown after. But right now we're just using this medium lightened up brown. And again, if it's too dark, okay, we're gonna add a little bit more white. If it dries too dark, we'll add a little bit more white, lighten it up, paint over top of it once it's dry. No stress there. But we are adding in where that original circle that we drew in the first place, right? That is where we're adding all of this medium light brown to define where his cute nose is. Right, how's that? We're gonna get wispy on us, but a little bit later. And again, when I talk about different levels of skill for people, like some people might want to do 5 to 6 different values of brown to have a lot really bump up and really 3D as they can. Some of us might use 1, 2, 3. That's okay too. It depends on how detailed or how, and some people don't even like detail. Some people are very meticulous and like to do that, and that brings them joy. And for some people, it stresses them out and don't want to do it. So you do whatever feels right, okay? It sparks joy. If you hold on to this, does it spark joy? So We've got his cute little schnoz started to be colored. His nose is going to be pink, so we're not even going to touch that right now, right? But we have this light brown. I'm going to mix a little bit more. Oh, that's a chunk of something. White paint. I'm going to mix a little bit more so I don't run out as we go. But we are going to start by getting a medium-sized brush out after I mix this lighter brown. Okay. I'm going to go a little bit smaller in a second here, but I'm just going to use what's loaded on my brush. But you can go right like smaller and pointed if you want to. But a good medium-sized brush. You can go a little bit, like if you want a little bit smaller, that's cool too. It can be square, whatever feels right. And now we are using a touch more water. Again, we're not going back to that chocolate milky consistency at all. We don't want thick paint though. So we're just going to dip our brush in our water once or twice and just roll our paint around. Because we kind of want it to be a little translucent. We want to see a little bit of the color that we have underneath. And I always say once we start doing these layers, we started with the darkest, and now that we're moving up, you don't want to cover up all of your work. Make sure that we're showing some of those dark chunks that we've already had, or else there's no point of us putting it there. So we've got this lighter brown, right? We've got his little schnout. We've got his schnout painted in. Now we're going to go up to his ear, and we're just going to start doing that fluffy consistency, right? Remember, just touching, just see my hand here, just the tip of your brush, right? Fluffing it up onto it. Instead of putting your whole brush, see if I'm pushing really hard and my whole paintbrush is on my hand. Look at how huge that paint stroke is. But when I'm just like fluffing with just the tip of my brush there, look how small and little. Oh, it's like the same color in my hand. But right? So you don't want to push too hard. It's important to be light on your hand. You can use your elbow on the table, whatever. But again, we're taking that medium and we're going to fluff it on top of the brown ear, just along the top edge. Right? We're going to leave a circle in the middle. Looks like fireworks, 100%. I love that. And then right across, right where his ear hits this part of his body, we're going to bring a couple lines on down, right? You can peel them out to his ear. And bring them on down. Again, very subtle. It's going to dry a little darker. That's okay, but see how there's dark between it. If you cover up too much of the dark, easy. We're going to go put more dark in there. Not a stress. Your steering wheel's going to need to be cleaned after tonight. That's so funny. Yeah, it for sure will be. And because I'm such a clammy, like, stressful driver that my hands get sweaty when there's paint on it, and that's why it's all like that. Somebody said I should get a cover, and I'm like, you know what? I kind of love that my steering wheel has paint all over it. Moist. Ew, gross word, but yes. So you guys see that those little fluffy hairs growing a little bit more? And when it comes to underneath his eyeball, right, we can go right underneath and fling some other fluffy hairs. Nothing is solid shapes at this point, but we are underneath his eye. It's too subtle for you guys to see, I feel like. But see where we're leaving some darker patches and fluffing around his cute little nose. On the screen, this brown really looks gray, and like the color's sucked out of it. My screen colors I can never get right. Okay, we're going above his eye, and we're just gonna add a little bit of that lighter color. Same with this cutie. On this side, we are just gonna light line under his eyeball and fluff. I'm always going outwards. I'm always looking at where the fur's going and just trying to mock it a little bit. He looks like a good old bird boy. Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. Right, and we're leaving some darker spots around his nose. So you can see that I brought up that comment about the pigment because some paints aren't like other paints. Other pigments are all different, and mine dried pretty light, like lighter than I wanted it to. This was like 2 or 3 layers that got that dark when that's really the dark that I want. So we'll just have to go fix that later, but see, sometimes you don't know what's going to happen. And again, over top his eye, he's got just a little bit of white, lighter color. I forgot I made his eyelid a little bit smaller on that other one. And of course, let's get that other fluffy eyeball in there. Or not eyeball, it's an ear. Why can't I see the ear on mine? And same thing, you go around the top, fluffy, fluffy, fluffy. If you want a smaller brush, go for it. But again, always be light on those strokes. And I'm following the ear down the bottom, but I'm leaving the center. And again, when his ear matches up with his face, you can fluff out some lines. And see, look, I even went outside of what we've done before because I want him to be a little fluffier. And that's okay. Oh my gosh, and I forgot to do his body, you guys. I'll touch it up at the end. But again, like the body is the same thing that we're doing, right? You put the dark down and we'll lighter, lighter, lighter to build it on up. But how about them apples? Again, a little subtle, but it's building up that brown body. And at the top of his head too, we are going to pull a couple of these fluffy hairs too. Really look at, oh, I went right over that white on the eyeball. We're gonna cover it with some hairs. Again, pay attention to the way that the fluffy hairs are going and try to roughly paint like that. And keep room for that dark underneath. We want some of it to peek through. Stacking like Pringles. What up, what up? Thanks for the firework. Daryl's here. Thanks for the flames. Oh, you guys, hello. How's this little cutie cow going? He looks like he has a Dumb and Dumber toupee on for sure. Like, not toupee, but Dumb and, like, Jim Carrey. Oh, no. What have I done? A Jim Carrey haircut. I'm just bringing it over top that line a little bit, but you don't gotta. One of your favorite streams on here, stacking like Pringles, pumping my tires, sweet angel. Thank you. We're painting a cute little cow. The reference has beaver hair. I know, and I painted it into Dumb and Dumber hair. Aw, sorry. But he totally does have beaver hair. And so going back to talking about like my paint not being dark enough, and if that's a problem that you had too, like you can always go back in. Not everyone might have to do this, right? Some people's dark might be dark enough. Everybody's paint's different. But I'm going in with just the solid dark paint that we started with before, but I'm going to go over top of those spots just one more time. And again, always painting fluffy to just maintain that hairy effect. And just going in a couple of those dark spots just to bump it up because mine didn't dry the way that I anticipated it to. Stacking Pringles, thanks for the share of the broadcast. You just come in here with love and excitement. Thank you. Do you think the cow's cute? Right? In the middle of his ear too, we can just bring some of that dark again. It's totally up to you. I know it's annoying and redundant, but hey, sometimes things don't go according to plan. But right, you can just get some of that darker. And remember, how do I find the darkest values? I squint at my reference photo, and whatever looks the darkest then. Oprah's sharing it, you guys. Thanks. Love a good share. And with our little cutie right around his nose, you can darken up some spots. You can even paint the hairs if you want. Oh, how are you doing, Pringles? Can I call you Pringles? I felt like RuPaul being like, can I call you Jiggly? 10 points, whoever has that reference, or whoever knows that reference. How are those lines darkening up? Right, we really want his schnoz to pop up or pop out. And the dark brown just wasn't doing it, but now with the second layer, it might help a little bit. Again, I'm brushing like they're fluffy hairs. Pringle's done already. Hey, it's hers. Oprah. You silly bee. You silly bee. Do you like me catching myself from swearing there? I think I already swore today, but... let's keep fluffing. Does darker colors feel farther away? Dresden, I should pay you for the assist. So he was mentioning, does darker color feel far away? Yes, totally. Darker and warmer colors. Darker and cooler colors feel far away. Farther away, while lighter and warmer colors appear closer. That's why I like shadows, right? You push stuff away by darkening them out. Thanks for the squint eye tip. I was wondering how to get better at shades. Heck yeah, squint at it. I don't know if eye doctors would like me telling everyone that, but I squint at everything. Alright, we've got some fluffs. You can even bring some more back into his front bangs if you want. The next value is going to go over top of his eyeballs. Right? We didn't need the darker color to go over, but the lighter color is going to go over his eyeballs. Oh, hi, Bubsy. Mumsy. Hello. How you doing? How are you doing? Our cow is coming to life, y'all. Sorry I'm late. Oh my gosh, never apologize. Never apologize for that. I'm just happy that you joined at all. You missed your son spoiling me from afar with coffee and dinner. Sweet, sweet boy. Okay, dokey. You can even add some dark in there. The yawn stopped. They literally have stopped. Mama knows best. That's how he is. You raised him right. You raised him right. Okay. You can even put some dark under his eyelid if you want. But doesn't that look a little bit better? Like there's a little bit more dimension in him. Hey, you can do some little fluffy dark hairs in there if you want. The yawning totally has stopped. But how are we feeling? He's getting cuter by the second. I'm just going to keep throwing some in there. Okay. So we've got this cow. Oh, thanks for the prop. Mumsy. I just keep calling you Mumsy instead of Bubsy. Feels right today. We've got our fluffy cutie coming together. So the nice thing about his eyeballs, remember, and like if you don't like the shape, remember how we always say you can hide anything? For people who are new here, talking about my whiteout technique I always talk about, you can take the color of whatever take the opposite color. So like if I'm trying to cover up this black, I'm going to use the color that's on the other side of it, right? And you can literally white out by painting over top the shape of that eyeball. If you don't like the shape, right, you can hide it if you want to. Anything, like even over here, it's like, oh, I don't like that shape, let me just change the shape by using the color that's beside it, right? But those eyelashes are just going to be cute as a button. Your dad bought cattle for a living. That's amazing. Of course, then you love the cow. Special connection. Okay, I didn't know that. That's amazing. So did you grow up on a farm? Okay. How is that? What time is it? 8:30. Ooh, this one's taking a little bit longer, eh, folks? So remember when I was talking about the body, like, I'll just do that quick so that if anybody cares. You would do exactly what we did the whole time, right? Dark to light. So you would just take your paintbrush, and I'm going to just slob on over here. Again, I'm painting, especially because it's a painting, it's like good to go a little bit lighter. Oh, you know what? Look at me coming back on what I said. When Dresden was talking about something in the distance, that was... I kind of lied a little bit. I was confused. Confusion. Because if I add more water to my brush as I move away from the closer part of the cow, right? His body's going farther away. If I make it lighter and lighter as I get back in the distance, it will look like something is going in the distance. Right? But you can make that fluffy cow go as far as you want. You can add someone here. I'm just making it a little bit lighter because we just want his cute face to be the center of attention. Right now we can't see it as well, but that's totally okay. When we're getting the lighter colors in there, it'll be fine. But right, you can bring that color because realistically his body goes all the way back there. But if you lighten it up, as you go farther back, it looks like it's going farther back in time. So when I said that darker looks farther, I'm a filthy liar. In certain situations, it does. It depends on how you want to play it. Paint it. So I'm just bringing it down. Just wispy and light over here. See, that's going to dry way lighter. We can make the darker closer, and even when you squint at him, right, you can see that the darker is closer. But since there's a lot of water on our brush, it's going to dry a little bit lighter than you anticipate. But it's still going to have that wispy hair effect that we have added on here. And I like the drips. Rules understood first, then broken in practice. Respect. Preach, brother. Okay, and then I'm just adding, because we don't want to miss his face, right? As we add the lightest highlight, it's going to be that wispy color, but close to his face here, we want it really dark, so that those light wispies will show the difference. Sorry, Nikki, there we go. So now we have his body, so we don't have to worry about that. As we add later, it will come together. Right, and the more water you add, the lighter it's gonna dry. Wispy, wispy, wispy. Let's go. I feel like this is a chaotic stream, and I apologize. Once a month, it just makes me wilder every time because I forget how to do it every time. You added to that? No, it's okay. No, you helped me stop yawning. I probably should have caffeinated myself first. Okay. So our cow's body is drying. We've got the lighter wisps in there. While everything else dries, we will add his pink tongue and nose. And then we will go in with the lighter light to add all those highlighted hairs on and eyelashes on our cutie little guy. So I'm going to just take out some good old red. We don't need much of it because we want it to be very, 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 very light. If you have straight up pink, you can just take out your pink. Like probably a light magenta would be nice. But I just know that not everybody has that, so I will mix some pink with white and red. Great to see you. Hope to catch you in Calgary. I agree, Bubsy. Now that I have a car too, I don't have to rely on Ubers. I'll see you anytime. I'm taking a medium brush out of my toolbox. I don't know what I'm saying there. Getting a medium brush, I'm taking a huge glob of white and a tiny touch of red, like tip of my paintbrush red, and we're gonna mix it in that. Like that might have even been too much. It's always less is more with white, but we want to get, again, we're still conscious of dark to light. So we're gonna, if when we squint at his nose and tongue, you can see the tongue is the darkest pink and then it gets lighter around. So we're gonna take this pink, that's a cutie cow for sure. Thanks, Ashlyn. Good to see you. We're gonna go into that tongue we have with that pink. We want more paint the water, like thick paint. You just dip your brush into your water dish so that it has some pull. And we are going to just fill in that space you made for the tongue. But again, ooh, it's gonna like blend in. It's not as the same color like it looks like on the screen. I'll zoom in a sec here. But again, remember, since what we drew originally was just our rough draft, if you feel like his tongue needs to be a little bit skinnier, or you want to reshape it a little bit, now is the time to do that. Now for another helpful question. What is pull? Oh, when I say like pull, good call. See, look at me using terms, not acknowledging that you guys don't know. Pull. So when you go across a canvas and there's not enough water on your brush, it will look like dry and sandpapery. Like you'll see the grid of the canvas in the paint instead. I don't know. Let me see if I can. Do you see how you can, like, right here? Like, see how it looks like you can see the canvas grid, ridges, grooves. I don't know what you want to say. Texture. That's just dry brush. There's just not a lot of water. So when I say that you pull across and you want to pull across smooth, is when you do one brush stroke, you don't get that effect. You get a smooth, solid stroke. So water helps you do it without it being like, you know what I mean? Does that make sense? And with this pink that you have, that's like a little bit darker pink, we're gonna go lighter in a sec too. You can add it under that black line that you made. And on his little lippy do down here, because he has a cute lip. It's like you're painting on lipstick. Let me go close for that. Tristan just said, so water is your friend. Yeah, exactly. Exactamundo. See how I just did a little line of pink? Don't you love when that just all comes together, Tristan, like that? Okay. Now, with this color that we just took, we are going to grab it, that pink, and we're gonna put another bunch of another bunch. That doesn't make sense. We're gonna put a lot of white into that pink, only a touch of that pink and a lot more white, because we need a way brighter white. So if you look at his tongue and you look at his nose, like this pot that's white right now, that's the difference we want to get. So you could put, again, a tiny, tiny touch of that pink. I might even need more white. And when you get like a very light white, you're just going to fill in that spot of that nose that we have left white at this point. Remember, a little bit of water to pull that paint across, but you don't want it that chocolate milky because you don't want it to be translucent. You still want it to go on enough to cover anything. Right? Oh, I'm painting this on an angle, so he's a little wonky, a little lopsided. What can you do? Right? Aw, that's cute. And in his tongue, it might still be a little bit too wet, so don't worry about it if you want to let it dry completely, but I'm still using this very light white, and I'm going to draw, where to go? The line right down his tongue. It's not going to be straight up and down. It's going to curve with the tongue, so like this way, right? So I'm going to start in the middle of the top, and as I come down, I'm going to curve on this way to the bottom. Oops, maybe not that hard of a curve. I know it's very subtle on your screen, but can you see that there? It's kind of nice that actually when the paint is wet, because you're kind of working wet on wet, which blends it together nicely. But you're also going to outline the darker pink with the lighter pink. Do you see what I did there? Did you see what I did there? How about them apples? He's got his little tongue. You can even, if you want, like bring that light pink and put it on his like eyelid if you want to before we put his eyebrows on there. If you want, you don't have to. How do we feel about him? We're gonna get those wispies over top of his scary eyeballs, don't you worry. But when we still have that pink, I love him. Okay, that's all that matters. We've got one love, so I know that the possibility's out there, and Nikki was the one who chose him, so perfect. You can put a little bit of pink in his, like we're gonna put gray over top of it, but if you want a little pop of color, you can add a little bit of pink into his horns. Like I said, we'll at the bottom end of his horns, but like I said, we will be coloring it in with like black and like a gray color soon, but if you want, for fun, y'all know I love color, putting it where it doesn't belong. Right? He's pretty cute. And again, everybody's painting's different. Everyone's would be drying different, looking different. Like, as this is, you can still see this is very wet. But I'm still gonna, as it dries, add in some more layers of this darker right here. And then we are gonna start adding in lighter, even lighter browns than we went to. Is the cutie jar still a thing? Bubsy. Hey, Justin and Dresden both have kept it going. They're the sweetest little angels. I will never make you guys give me cutie points. I could never. Okay. Oh, so cute. Thanks. Coming in with the props, you guys. Spoiling me every Thursday. I was gonna say every Thursday, but we know Thursday is the end of the month. Nico, we haven't heard from you in a while. How's it going? Oh, Tristan, you don't have to catch up. You guys. Fur City. It is Fur City. Look at this. That's what's cute. That's literally what differs them from any other cow, is literally they're just like fluffy and adorable. So, another thing too, when it comes to color, people can play with as much as you want. Like if you want to add another color into your brown to pop them up a little bit, like you can add a little bit of like a yellowy color while you bring the color or the fur up lighter. Whatever you want. I'll show with both, but you guys know the drill. We're just going to be adding more white to the color than more white to the original color that you chose than this medium brown, right? Remember we said this was medium. We have the darkest, we have a medium, and now we need to get a lighter version. This is driving me crazy that it's not drying solid. This burnt sienna is just a little bit annoying, so I'm just gonna keep putting some chunkier spots in there. Until they dry nice. Okay. Now, we've got our, where's my white paint? Where did I put it? We're going to start with his eye. Yeah, we're going to start with his eyelashes. I don't have another palette knife, so we're just using this old paint tube. And now we want a really light brown, very light. And you want a pointed brush so that we can do nice wispy little hairs. Again, if you want to mix your colors, I know I didn't say that this time, but if you want to mix your colors with a palette knife, feel free. It's another sin of mine that some artists hate that I mix colors with a paintbrush. Just kidding, my teacher. I always bring him up. I love him to death. One of my teachers would just be fully insulted that I mix colors with a brush, and then I teach other people to mix colors with a brush. But I personally like the inconsistencies that you get with mixing with your brush. Like sometimes there might just be like a thick, darker color of brown, and I think that's cool. But while some people want very smooth, very clean colors, and you can do that if you want. I just ain't about that life. Okay, so I got a lot of lighter. I can't speak. I got a way lighter brown than what we had before. I made a good chunk of it, okay? And guess what? We're just dipping that brush in water to make it a little wet, but not that chocolate milk consistency. Make sure all of your bristles are filled and try to get all the excess off a little bit onto your palette. And what I like to do, like on my palette, I don't know if you can see, like I spin my brush to kind of like get, I don't know if you saw, spin the brush to get the excess off, but then point the end of the brush at the same time. And I'm doing that on my palette, right? So I get a bunch of paint and I kind of spin it a little bit. Now my brush is pointed and loaded, locked and loaded. And we are going to start at the bottom of his, oh, I said we were going to do his eyelashes first. Okay. I lied to you, we're not. We're going to start at his bangs. So we're going to start at the bottom and start going our way up, because if you look at his hair from the top, all those hairs are at the top and they're going over top all of the other ones. So we want to start underneath. So every layer we add, it looks like it's over top the other one. We've got our wet brush and we are going to start down here at the bottom and we're just going to do a little wispy. Whoop. That might be even like way too light of a brown, but just for the purpose of you guys being able to see it well, I'll do it that light. You can make yours a little darker probably. So we're doing a wispy, 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 and a wispy. Keep them coming. Now from the top, make it drop. That's so light and fluffy. You sneaky boy. Oh, not sneaky boy, that's Oprah. Sorry, Oprah. You sneaky, sneaky person. That's funny. So remember when I said before, you don't want to cover up all your work. You want to see some of the mediums, some of the dark brown, some of the medium brown. You don't want to cover everything, because what's the point of us going through all that work, right? So we did a couple little fluffy wisps, and now we're going to go over top and bring some more on top. A couple fluffs here and there. And they're all following roughly the same shape that we did before. Like shape and direction, right? But again, showing your work underneath. And now we have to go over top his eye a little bit, right? He's got fluffs through his eye, and that's okay. It might feel unnatural to paint right over top of something that you drew already, but we're going for it. We're making some wispy hairs. I'll go closer. Right? Do you see those hairs growing? And the darker underneath is showing that there's a little more depth in there. It's still very light on my brush. I'm still holding my brush pretty far away from the front. And if you notice, the hairs are usually in triangle chunks. Right? Like let's go over top this eyeball here. Whoop, whoop. But see how it's almost in a little triangle piece. I'm holding my brush really lightly. I'm just using the tip of the brush, right? We're not pushing super hard. And if you don't have loads of control of your brush, you can like, or if you feel like it's hard for you to do just the tip of your brush, like support your like elbow on the table. But again, we're just going through the motions of our cutie little fluffy forehead. And all the wisps are kind of coming in to that point. We're trying to remember that piece of pizza that we had earlier. We want to do a couple wisps over top of the darker shadows that we built, right? Wispy, wispy, wispy. Cover those eyeballs, especially if you hate them. And one thing, and I can see I'm kind of doing it too, you don't want it to be like too mechanical or too perfectly, like you don't want every piece to look perfectly aligned or away from the other one. It'll look a little bit more mechanical. We want them to look natural. So try to be a little random with your hairs, but I see that I'm doing it pretty, whatchamacallit, symmetrical. I'm gonna try, not just kidding, I'm gonna not go all the way to the top. I'm gonna leave like ½ an inch of the top of the dark because we're gonna put one more lighter value of brown on top of that to complete the lighting, the shadows. Sorry, not the shadows, the highlights. That's the opposite. Oh my gosh, she's so fluffy and cute. Right? Again, try not to cover all your work. Is it a Highland steer? Your guess is better. I was going to say as good as mine, but better than mine because you would probably know better than me. Your Faja would know. I am not sure. It's a Highland something. Wow, with such emphasis, pretty darn cute, right? And like, look again, like it's still, you can cover up more of his eye if you want, whatever. We're gonna come to the side still with this lighter brown that we have, and we're gonna make sure that his cute little whiskies, right? Because now we know where his body is versus his face. And at the bottom, he has like cute little like beard. Remember, we kind of drew it earlier. Once we got under his mouth, we can flip the hairs out a little bit. Same on this side, right? We can go do do do, and we can bring them on this way towards the other one. His cute little beard. I know we're going a little late on this one. Sorry, pals. He's complex. Alright, he's got a little goatee. Maybe you can put a little triangle of hairs underneath there. But make sure you leave some of that dark brown. Worth it? Okay, good. Thanks. Thanks, Nikki. You're validating me today. We are going. Oh, shoot. That was a big hair. That's okay. And then we don't want it to completely blend in, but we want a little bit of this lighter brown on his nose, right? You can go just like I'm just dabbing to show it like a little bit. It's a different type of hair, right? It's not these long fluffy hairs. They're little short like stubbles. Let me go close so you can see that. Again, not a detail you have to do if you don't want to. You can leave that literally bare if you want, but you can tap, tap, tap your little brush to make some of these small little hairs. You can pull it over a little bit if you want to make it look fluffier, right? That's how you make something look fluffy, is carrying those lines over top the shadow behind it. See, if you look at this side right here versus this side, right? See how it's nice and fluffy? He looks fluffy. Same over here, we can do that too. Fluff, 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 fluff. A little bit over the sides. And on his chinny chin chin, we're fluffing it out. because he's a cute little flufferson. And then remember, right, you don't want to hide all your work, so you can still, it's kind of blown out on the screen a little bit, but there's still this dark brown underneath. It's still there, dark brown, whatever, darker than the color we just added. Right? You can even do like whisker wisps if you want, whatever. These haired, like fluffy things that we paint is like so up to you how far you want to push those details. Oh, he's cute. He's coming along cute. Right? We still have this little bit lighter brown, and we're going to, again, go over here. You can make some more wispy hairs if you want to. Can't see my reference photo. I don't know why that keeps happening. All right, get some fluffs in there. And we're not going to go all the way around the ear. We're just going to go on the top of the ear. Right? We did dark everywhere, then we did light, a medium brown all the way around, and now we're doing a light brown just on the top. Always being conscious to show some of your work. Always fluffing things like they're wild. You're never going to do a thick brush stroke. You are always fluffing to get this fluffy, cute effect, right? Underneath his eyes a little fluffier than I made it to. Okay? And with this lighter, depending if you did the background or not, right, you can add some of these lighter hairs moving backwards, but we don't want to add as much detail on things that are supposed to be far away. You're supposed to only see, oh my gosh, what did I do? JK, keep that there. You're supposed to, you want to keep as much detail as the closest, and then as things fall back in the distance, the detail dissipates was the first word that came into my head, but y'all know what I'm trying to say. Oh, look at that sweet boy, right? He is very cute. Okay, we are gonna get out a little smaller brush for us to do those cute little eyelashes of his, which I'm gonna zoom in for. Right? He's got the cutest lashes. So we're gonna add a little bit of water to that brown that we've already made, like that light brown we were just using. We want it to be a little bit lighter than that. I know it's redundant and annoying. We're just going, oh, add a little bit of white. Do the same thing. Add a little white. But that's how she goes. So I've got a little brush. I've got all the excess paint off my brush. I'm going to add a little bit of water so it pulls across the canvas better. Cutie cow. Oh, thanks, Bubsy. So we're going to start like halfway on his eye here, and we're just going to go like down. Just do a couple short little ones. And then right when we get to the end, he has long, long ones. Do you see how that works there? And they can curl even. This brush I'm using might even be a little bit too big, but always remember, just use just the tip of the brush. You don't want to push too hard. Ooh, but that's cute. I'm even going to use a little bit of that same light just to like highlight underneath his eye a little bit. And he kind of has some bottom lines too. Right now, his eyes don't seem as scary, I feel like. For a while, I was like, ooh. But now I'm like, okay, you're cute, you're cute. And same on this side, right? You start about halfway, and we'll just do some, like, little flings. And then when you get to the end, they go cute far and down. And not as much on this side, but you can add a couple little more of those too. Oops, that was weird. And now that you've got that lighter color that you did those eyelashes with, we're gonna go take that brush back that we were doing all these fluffy hairs with, whatever you were using. You take this lighter brown that we just made that I just messed up and have to make a little bit more of. Oh, I realized I didn't put the yellow in like I said I would. That's more people would probably have just brown versus those colors. So now that we have that little bit of lighter brown, right? We're adding a little bit of water to pull, but not chocolate milky. We're going to the top layer that we left out, right? We kind of left it hanging a little bit. And then we are going to get my reference photo so I can see what I'm doing. Pull these hairs back, same thing, but now they're just lighter on the top layer. We're still kind of doing these like little batches kind of triangles in a sense. Like when I say that, I mean like, see, like this is a batch of a triangle, and so then let's do one here. A little chunkies of triangles. Please tell me you're gonna try a tongue nose thumbnail. Well, I am now. That's a great idea. That's a great idea. And then I'm gonna Photoshop my tongue into my nose no matter what. Obviously I can't make it there, but that's what's happening for sure. No doubt in my mind. Nice, thanks. I don't have to worry about it. Easy peasy. But see how when we did those when we saved the lighter fluffy hairs for the top, you can kind of see a little bit more. Again, like my just depth and dimension is all I know how to say. I don't know the proper words. I'll move it backwards and you'll be able to see a little bit better. Fluffy little guys. And then same here, you can add some more of these curly hairs that went into his face. And the same light, just a couple tippies down here, but not too many. How we feeling? Oh, he's cute. We do go to the same lash girl. We totally do. Again, you can add tiny touches of this lighter color if you want places, but again, the more as we go and we add these lighter layers, the less of the lighter values you put on, right? The dark was the whole thing. The medium brown was a little bit around. The light brown was even less, and now this lightest light is going to be the even less of everything else that we've added. I feel like that didn't make sense. You're using even less as the colors get lighter. For some of you, you might really have to lighten up this outer edge here to show where his face starts and his body begins, ends, vice versa. Right? Ooh, I almost ripped out that cord. Okay, little cow. One thing that I'm noticing, again, I always just try to point out things that happen on mine that may be happening to somebody out in the future. Oh my god, horns time. Yeah. As you see here, these dark spots kind of bump up a lot, like they just kind of catch your eye a lot. You can add a little bit of medium brown fluffed in there if you want. If you feel like they're just sticking out at you. You want them a little bit because they are shadow, but if they're a little too prominent for you, then don't worry about it. Delicious boogers, I know. Isn't he funny? He's so cute. Okay, we are doing the horns. Good call. Nikki, you go. Justin said, can you fade it down with watery thinner paint too? Why did I already black out what you were asking about? Remind me what I just said that prompted that comment. The ear gradient, yes. Yes, 100%. With a lighter paint, very watered down, you could add in that spot as well so the dark will peep through a little bit. Thanks, Justin. I was like, what was I talking about? So for his horns, we want darker at the end and it gets lighter as it gets closer. So we're going to grab some black and we're going to put some white in it, probably equal parts black and white. Actually, probably more white than black. Who am I kidding? Because we don't want it black horns. We just want them a little bit darker gray. And so I have this dark gray here. You can see here's the black, here's the gray. And again, it's going to dry darker than on your palette, so don't be scared to make it a little bit lighter if you need to. And we're just going to start at the end and like lightly brush it on. Beep, beep, beep. And we're going to pull it across and see how I'm getting that rough, sandpapery look, right, that we were talking about, which means I don't have a lot of water on my brush, but that's okay. We kind of want that rough bone. That's not a bone, it's a horn. Rough horn texture. You're an expert, girl. Roger. Thank you. Sometimes I don't feel like it. Sometimes I do. But we're lightly brushing on this horn. And see, like, we're showing that pink throughout. If you want, you can put your brush in the black, dab it out a little bit, add a little bit more of the dark black roughly in the horns. Especially when that gray's wet, you can do that. You just kind of mix it in there. What time is it? 9. Okay, not terrible. Right, get as dark as you want at the ends. And then as we get closer to the pink that we put down, we want to add more white because we want it lighter gray. And again, dab off the axis, and you don't even have to put water on your brush if you want to try to get a sandpapery rough texture. Remember when we're talking about being conscious of your brush strokes, like which direction to go. See how I'm always going left to right, like I'm following the shape of that horn? Maybe I'll zoom in. Sorry. Where? I don't know why my little clicker is so far away today. Yeah, see, it's a little... I hate how... Oh my gosh, sorry. Got wild. The quality's low when I zoom in like that. But I'm just lightly brushing over top of that pink. So see how the pink is like peeking through? Maybe can I... It's a little blur. Come on, focus, my guy. Right? And again, like not both horns are exactly the same, so if you want to like dab in some lighter gray or whatever, like see I'm like tapping and making some of that texture with just some white, with some gray I mean on my brush. Let me zoom in for that too. Again, it's gonna be annoying, but see how it's just like rough texture on there? And that's just by using that dry brush, tapping away. See if I do this, if that helps. Yeah, you can kind of see, right? I'm literally just like, hey, see what happens. How about over here too? Perfect. Got them guy lights. He totally does. How do we feel about him? I'm looking at him. What do we have to tweak? Again, going through detail-wise, like he literally could be finished for anybody right now. If you wanted to define some more of his hairs, if it feels a little flat for you, you can go back into your dark brown, right? Or your dark whatever first color you started with. And you can almost like outline some of these external hairs that you did, right? Like I'm going through... and just defining some more of those shapes with that dark brown that I've already had. Once I do a couple here, you could probably see. Oops. Define some of those like tufts of hair over top of one another. Do you see what I'm doing? Can you tell from far away what that is? Oh my gosh, I just stabbed him with a paintbrush. Same in his ear, right? You can like separate some of those tufts if you want. Whatever you wish, however detailed and touchy you want to get with anything, right? You can bring his fluffy hair over top of the horns that we just did. But what I mean by outlining, right? I'm not really doing like a drawn on outline. I'm just kind of going around the shapes that we've already done with the darker color, but still painting like fluffy brush strokes, right? Not a solid line, more like, yeah, brush strokes. The hairs that we've been doing this whole time. You can kind of just separate some of them a little bit. Do you see them coming out a little bit more? And I know when I said like build them in a triangle, some of you guys are like, where are these triangles you speak of, Taylor? You make no sense. I'll try to define one, right? Like here is a triangle. Do you see that? A triangle tuft. It's a little bit rounded more, but it's still a triangle shape, right? Do you see that? Kind of like a leaf. Yeah. A leaf's a good good description of it. And again, like as you started going, like maybe you lost track of some of those dark spots that we squinted and saw earlier on, and nothing's stopping you from going back in and fluffing those spots up again. If you want, you can do the translucent, like the little bit thicker than the chocolate milk we started with, and do these little brush strokes around, and they'll dry a little bit more opaque and add some more of that hair dimension. Guys, I need a thesaurus. Oh, he's cute. He is cute. When we're at this stage right now, does anybody have any questions, concerns, something looking weird? Do they need help with something? Remember, you can always send in a photo, like right now, of your process and ask for help or my suggestions. I can easily do that too. Whatever works. Man, I can't believe how fast that mocha worked with my yawns. Right, you can even like outline the nose a little bit with this brown color if you want. Again, however detailed you want to get, up to you. Does he get a highlight on his round bottom part? Yeah, you know what? Let's do that. That's a good call. Right, but I'm just adding some brown on top of that pink that we did there. Oh, that looks weird. Again, cutie cow. See you soon, Tay. Thanks, Lisa. Hopefully see you soon. I still have this brown white brush. You can do a little outline under that little lippy if you want. Right. I'm just darkening up underneath that goatee and stuff to pump it up a little more. He's cute. Also, like it's looking like the tongue is like blending in a lot with the mouth. You can get your Sharpies out if you want. You can get a thin paintbrush if you want. Just remember to be nice and light on the brush, using just the tippy. And you can outline that tongue if you want to. I'm going to get to Oprah's comment about the under the lip there. I love that I'm just Oprah. I'm just going to get to Oprah's comment quick here. Again, nothing that a white highlight can't fix. Now we're just going to go into pure white. Okay? I'm using a little brush. I'm going into pure white. There's some water on my brush. It's not chocolate milky. It's still more water, more paint than water. You know what? In his tongue, he's going to get a little bit of highlight too. We're going to put a pure white highlight on the outside there. Go down a little bit of that line you've already drawn. We're going to put a little bit of a white highlight on his little lippy. And from his lip, we're going to do a couple tufts of hair, of little white hairs. Do you see that right under his lip? I'll zoom in for you. The tongue is probably wet. No doubt in my mind does he have a little wet tongue. Again, white highlight is the best. It can be used and abused, like I use and abuse it all the time. But you can put like a little dab, dab, dab of white on that cute little nose if you want. Right? And same down here. I'm thinking that our cutie is just about, well, I guess he doesn't have a background, but that's the story of my life. I never put a background on there. You can put white highlight on his horns too, right? Like a rough line that just kind of shows that it's shinier at the top, but the surface isn't smooth. So if you don't put a smooth straight line across, and if you make it, yeah, I know. See, Nikki said background. I know. I'm the worst at backgrounds. See here how I'm saying like it's not a straight line, like it's just kind of a crazy wild whoop. Line kind of makes it look like the surface that is reflecting the light isn't smooth, because it's not. It's not. How's that? He's so cute. And again, like you can, I'm just going to show you quick. Some people might want to do black to outline things even more than they already are. This is, again, a completely up to you if you want to do it. But like how I was outlining with the brown, you can do it with the black too. Go into with like a little black in his ear. Again, I'm always going to be painting it roughly. It's not a smooth line. You can outline, if you want, these little tufts of hair of his to define more of those shapes if you want. You don't have to. That was an ugly line. Right? Whatever you want. If you do the black, it will have to go through across. Ting, ting, ting. If you want, what do you think? I'm just gonna make him even fluffier at the top because that's cute. Choosing some lines to bump up. Okay, dokie. How are the hairs coming, Nico? Are you over them? You guys know that I'm a sucker for black, so that's why I just like have to go in with the black ones, but it's by no means necessary for everybody. For some people, black ruins everything, and that's fine. That's fine. But if you put an outline on front of something, it shows like this, like bangs are in front of the ears. Yes, over them. Yes. Yeah, Sadie. Hey, you knew coming into this one that there was for sure going to be a hairy fiasco. Oh, they're cute. They are cute. Right, I'm just going through. I don't know if anybody's doing the outline, but it makes me feel safe and secure. That's literally what I was told in school. They're like, you just rely on an outline. Try without an outline. And I was like, no. That's hard. I don't like it. Horn, horn. Oops, that's a wobbly line. Love it. Who is there? Nobody's here. Are you hearing the beeping? That's right here beside, ooh, where's my hand? Right here beside me and above me is stairs that go upstairs, and people who have building rooms upstairs can get in literally right here. So that's their door making that noise. Nobody's here. I put, whenever I'm here after hours, this door is always on stay, like stay, the alarm is on stay mode. So if a door opened, it would be sirening in here immediately. How's that little cutie? I love him. What do you guys want to do for a background? I don't know. Let's just do like a watercolory background. We can do that. I'm just adding some more. Remember how I was saying closer, you want more detail, and as you go away with less detail. So I'm just going to go in with a little bit of this black just to bump a little bit of detail closer to. But again, not as much detail as we did up here, but we want more detail here than back there to show that it is, oh, going back in space. People's eyes just agree that that's what's happening. Right? Nikki, did you start doing a background on your own? What did you guys decide? Should I just do a watercolory one? No? Okay. What vibe do you want? What are you feeling? For your little guy. I feel like a watercolory something should be okay in the back. Let's see. Oh, I just put I don't want that dark black. Oh, oh yeah. Again, I didn't bring glitter over here like a dunce. Let me see. Oh, he's very cute. It's bothering me a little bit that it's not full brown over here too. I'm just gonna darken that there. That makes me feel better. Watercolor and glitter. Okay. It's gonna be what color? Blue. I think we'll just do a very, very, very light. Oh, green. Oh, I just read green. Oh, green would be nice. If I have green here, yes, you should do green. Green actually would be the best. If I don't have green here, I can't. But I think you're right that green, because he's like in a field. Oh, do I have I have like a, I have turquoise. What do I got over here? I feel like green would be the best, but turquoise doesn't feel right for me. Whenever people ask me, like, how do you choose your colors? If it feels right in the moment. Sure, I'll do a little bit of cobalt. My palette is filthy and disgusting. Let me grab another one. Or just shimmy that one on down. Go. Do I not have another? Yeah. It's a mess, but okay, I'm just gonna use a little bit of cobalt, but it's gonna be like, I want it to be very thin, like I really don't want much of a background. Or not, but I don't want it to be very saturated. And it's gonna be a little bit brown because my water is filthy and we're just going for it. I'm gonna add a little bit of white too. White to a little bit of my cobalt. And see how I'm just roughly going, adding a bunch of water. Ooh, that's probably too much water, but we're living and learning. And I for sure want to up drip it. Ilum, where are you at, bro? So I'm going to turn it upside down. These drips are going to be in the way. That's okay. And all I'm going to do with this very watery paint is just start slobbing her on a little bit. Can you guys see all that? Yep. And again, remember, when you add lots of water to things, it becomes very translucent, and when it dries lighter. Even though all the other times I say, Your paint's gonna dry darker when it goes on the on your canvas. It's gonna be darker than what's in your palette. But when it's super watered down, the water like drains out all of the saturation, so it dries very light and wispy and watery. And what I'm doing here is I'm using my white and cobalt mostly everywhere, but then I'll dip my paintbrush in the pure dark cobalt, and so you can see, right, like that's a little bit darker than what's down here, just to try to get kind of like a tie-dye effect, actually, is what I was trying to say. I'm okay with it dripping over his horn. I think that's cute. If you don't want it to drip too crazy, you can like dab a little bit. Let me get some of the up drips I want, and then we'll... And I'm being very like, whatever. I'm coming close to, but not touching my little guy. And remember my trick before, if you have a wet rag and some water, you can dab that mess away. If you don't like where a drip went, especially when it's this watery, it will literally just wipe off. As long as your paint isn't, like the paint that it dripped on isn't wet still. Like I'm very okay with that drip going through his horn. I think that's cute. And if you had glitter like Nikki does, and like I usually do, but I don't at the moment, you would lay your painting flat like it is right now, but flat. I can't do that for you guys in here. And literally just sprinkle glitter on that wet paint. Nikki will send in a picture and you'll see. I'm assuming she's doing it. And up here, and up here. Dab. Okay, I like the background. It's pretty cute, actually. I kind of want another drip over there. The more watery your paint is, the more it will drip. The Gay Otter. Hello. Welcome to the Studes. What is your... Oh, cute little... I was like, what's your little profile picture? I was thinking it was a little otter. But it's not, but that's okay. Thank you. We just all painted it together. Some people at home were painting too. He turned out pretty cute. You guys, like, remember how I told you at the start that sometimes I panic halfway through that it's not going to turn out, but I don't ever tell you guys? That happened again today, just so you know. But it was his eyeballs. The eyeballs just... They looked crazy for a while. And I was nervous. I'll be honest with you now. I'm your fearless leader. I can't make... Can you guys hear that? Hoodlums in my back alley. Usually doing unfavorable things back there. Which is why it is barricaded. Nobody can get through that door. Get me a little drip. I just want one little drip. No, so I still trusted. Justin was like, were you not trusting the process? I still trusted that it would turn out, but there's times where you just get worried a little bit sometimes. That's okay. Fear's allowed. Okay, the background's cute. I'm glad I did it. And you can like dabby the background to get more of like a tie-dye effect if you want. They have a beautiful game in VR for painting. It allows me to practice without spending money on paint. I've seen some people on like TikTok and stuff do that. That is so cool. It blows my mind, actually. It's very hard for me to picture. You can like paint in like 3D. But yes, paint supplies can get expensive. They totally can. That's awesome. You can do My Paint Nights digital too. Many people have done the Paint Nights digital instead of following along with paint. Okay, that drip is going too far. You really enjoyed it? Heck yeah. What did you paint? Oh, and I keep doing things and not telling you guys. So when things are dripping, there's going to be a bead of water at the end, and that's what's accelerating it to drip more, because it's pooled and collected a heavy enough bead to start dripping. So if you want to stop a drip from going with a dry paintbrush, I just went and I touched the bead and it sucked it up, so then it stopped going down. How's that, everybody? Me likey. He is complete, beautiful. It's pretty cool because you can have a YouTube video playing in the background. That's very cool. Like my YouTube video? Like I'm putting this on YouTube immediately after we get off live here. So you could play this in VR and then paint it in VR too. Is that what you're saying? Oh, that's cool. Justin, he got bangs. He totally does have bangs. I love it. You'll recreate what you do. The gay otter. I would love to see that. That's very cool. Okay, you guys. Yeah, I fireworked that too. Thanks, Justin. And thanks, gay otter. Again, level of difficulty, whoever wants. If you want to add a little more like definition to his tongue, you can water down the brown. Shoot. Right, you can just add a little bit of like shading to that tongue if you want, if you felt like it was too flat. That's just very watered down paint just to define some of those shapes if you want. But again, like you could easily paint without any of these shadows and shapes, right? Like you need the shapes. Without these shadows and definition, like you could paint him flat. Some people's style is a flat, solid color. That's super cool too. Oh, thanks for the props, you guys. Oh my gosh, and Putin Uni. Oh my goodness, you're just spoiling me. Thanks, Otter. That's very nice of you. I appreciate you joining in the Stoods with us today. We do this every last Thursday of every month. We call it Thursday, actually. But a bunch of us hooligans get together on the last Thursday. Some of us paint, some of us hang out. But we started our little crew during COVID. I never used to teach paint nights until COVID came around and we were all locked at home and we were had nothing to do. So we painted twice a week, every week for over a year, which is crazy to think about because now I only do it once a month and it's like, wow. Oh, thanks for the donut. Thanks for the popcorn. Peanut gallery for the win for sure. For sure, for sure. Y'all the best. Oh my gosh, Otter! Just coming in here with all the cuties. Have I even seen that little donut? There's an Xbox controller, a skateboarder. Love it. Love it. Oh, I'm just looking. Oh, I just went off screen being like, trying to look at the cat. I think he's like good to go. He's very cute. I may just... Oh my gosh, you guys are just spoiling me in the chat. Thanks. Otter hugs. I was actually just at a wedding that they call each other their significant otter, and they like in both of their vows they like mentioned like how otters hold hands and like, oh, it was cute. It was cute. Otters are the best. Otters are the best. Was it a gay man's wedding? It really wasn't. It was full straight. Full straight. Hard to believe. Oh, that's funny. No, yeah, full straight. So cute. And I was at the wedding because I was live painting at their wedding. Actually, I painted the couple during the ceremony and reception. And somebody said after, they're like, you should sneak an otter in there somewhere. Because they mentioned them both in their speechy. So I am going to. So I didn't add it. I always bring the painting home with me at the end of the night. Like it's finished up to like what everyone else thinks done, and then I bring it home and perfect it. So I'm going to sneak a little otter, probably on the back of the painting. But yeah, I will. Okay, you guys, how's that for our cute little gaffers? Yeah, it's just like it references the day, references their vows, and obviously them as a couple. Super cute. Just shortening that in there. Looks amazing. Thank you. Reminds me of being a kid and getting ice cream. Love that. That's a good vibe it's given off. Just licking ice cream off your face. Get that in there. Okay. Tay-Tay the goat. You stop it. You cuties. What was I just doing? I think that's good for now. I've got to stop touching. I'm just picking at him. It's time to do a reference photo. I forgot how this works here. Did anyone send in their cuties yet? Yeah, they did. Oh, cute. Oh, cute. Okay. Tim Hortons for the win. Yeah. Okay, let me go here. Where is my... What am I supposed to be doing? Instagram. Here we've got... Look at this little cutie. So fluffy. Why is my screen so big? Let me get this down here. Why can't I shrink that down? It won't let me shrink it, so that is what we'll deal with for a second. Nailed it. Yes, little tongue. He's so hairy, so cute. And then look at this little guy too. Oh, look. We can see. Oh my gosh. Look at this regular paint nighter. Look at that Bernie. Oh my god, I'm obsessed. I forgot when we did that. Oh my god, they're all so cute. And this little guy. Oh my god, I love the licking. I know, Bernie is so cute. You did such a good job. And like, oh, you've been here a lot and I'm living for it. Oh, heck yeah. Oh my gosh, look at this one. They're all so cute. Where's my phone? Nailed it too, you guys. Let me see here. Do I have any more in here? It looks like I got a couple, but my message requests are being weird. Why won't that pop up? That guy, this cutie, this cutie. Bing, bang, boom. Why isn't the other one showing up on here? Why are you not in here? My computer won't show me my message request for some reason. But so far, so good. I love. Oh, and here's the last one. Oh, look at this little guy, too. You guys all nailed it today. Otter needs sleep. Good night. Great to meet you, Otter. Thanks for joining us in the stewed. And we hope to see you again sometime in virtual paint life. Love that. Cute. You guys, you all did so great. Look at them all. And remember what I said? Nobody's looks the same. Everyone did so good. Justin can't even. You guys, I'm proud of them all. One of them I can't show for some reason. I apologize. I won't bring it up on here, even if I sit on it there. But yes, they turned out great. Good job. Everyone is right. Oh my god, so cute. Hold the phone up? What'd you say? Hold what phone up? Like my background picture? Is that what you're saying? This picture? Oh! Let me get it. Oh my god, they're literally telling me not to. The second message is, you don't have to share. Yeah, there's no judgment zone here, okay? Never be embarrassed. And I always close, like, see, you can't see anyone's name or anything, okay? So don't feel, it is a safe space. So I won't push you. You think about it. But it's totally a safe space. Nikki is not wrong. So much fun. Thanks for the paint night. I need to be getting to bed. Right, Nico, you are far away. Sorry I kept you so late. Oh my gosh, 40 minutes later. Woo! Thanks for joining. Okay, I'm going to do my... Thanks for joining always. Let's get this out of here. And I obviously have to... Gotta flip the bangs over. Oh my god, like, should I make horse bangs? My hair doesn't work like this. Oh my god, I'd have to do this, and I have to Photoshop... Okay. Okay, sorry, I got distracted. ADHD's kicking. Okay, where does this... Goes on this side. Here is cow. Hear me roar. Here is my horse bangs. I have to put my point. Just give me a moment, everybody. Just heard somebody whistle outside. I have to put my ponytail further down so it's not so long on my face. Okay, how about this? Obviously, let me get that in there. Obviously, oh, now that's two. How's that? This is always the most chaotic part of the stream. That's perfect, right? If somebody just came in right now, they'd be like, what in tarnation is happening here? Okay, so he's like this. Get this hair in the middle. Like that. Okay. Oh, perfect. Okay, here's the cow. And then... I can't stick my tongue out very far. It's backwards. Oh, I for sure got the same bang as him, like this, exactly, just like this. I'll give myself horns too, obviously. There's something in there. That'll do, donkey. That'll do. Get that little kitty. Good. Done. What's happening? Okay. Oh, we'll go there. Okay. Woo! Glad we got that resolved. Thanks for the suggestion today, Nikki. I didn't realize how much people would love him, and I love him more than I thought I would too. Y'all know the drill. I'll be popping this up on YouTube as we speak. And I won't see you until next month, the last Thursday. The last Thursday of the month, we will be painting Miss Piggy. Yes, Nikki, Miss Piggy. It's actually such a cute... Let me show you. Cinderella, where are you? Where's Cinderella? Is she not Cinderella on Instagram? Or are you just Cinderella on... Oh yes, it's Creative Ellie. No. Oh, found her. Look at this picture of Miss Piggy, you guys. Which camera should I do it in? Look at... That's cute, right? Oh, it's getting a little blurry. That's cute. We were going to do it this month, but then I'm glad you jumped in with the cow. And just like Dresden said, awesome timing after Stampede. But Miss Piggy is next. And I love that. So hope to see you then. Otherwise, we've got like 80 paint nights on Taytayski on YouTube. All the ones are still on Caffeine. You can rewatch if you want. Never be scared to send me a message if you want to paint something specific, right? Like, these are all ideas from other people. This guy's from Nikki. We've got the Cinderella with our little cutie, Miss Piggy. The porcupine was a user sent in her own photo, and we used that to go. We'll figure it out. Don't be scared to ask. If your picture's too hard, I'll find something similar. But most of the time, we can make it happen because we trust the process, right? Okay, you guys, you'll catch me on Etsy, Instagram, YouTube, Pinterest, TikTok, Instagram, under Taytayski. Find me across the board. I post mostly on Instagram, even though I feel like it's dying. Trying to be more on TikTok, but we'll see what happens, all right? Y'all know where to find me. Thank you all for coming, as usual, and just catch ya on the flip side. You're the best.